Good morning, guys. I'm Marsha. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing a little bit of a different video. I've been working this week on... You'll have to excuse the noise in the background. It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning. The roosters think it's time to get up. The dog thinks it's time to go out for a bathroom break, even though I usually don't walk him until about 6 o'clock or so. But everybody's a little bit impatient with me this morning. But anyway, all week I've been working on compiling some of the breakfasts that I eat. And they're all more on the low carb side. I don't eat a sweet breakfast. I try not to eat a lot of carbs for breakfast because we do eat potatoes and pasta and whatnot for dinner. And I enjoy those kind of foods. So I try to keep the carbs that I eat to a minimum in the morning. So I'm going to share with you some of the breakfasts that I've had this week. I have myself set up for breakfast. I'm going to have scrambled duck eggs. You can eat chicken eggs if you can't get duck eggs or you don't have your own duck eggs. The first thing I'm going to do, because I'm going to have some Swiss chard for my breakfast, is I'm going to cut up just a little bit of onion. Next, I'm going to just cut these little grape tomatoes in half. They'll add a little pop of flavor. Okay, this is Swiss chard. I washed these greens already this morning. I'm going to cut the stems off because you can eat the stems, but it takes a good little while to cook them, and I don't have a lot of time in the morning. So I'm going to just cut the stems off of this Swiss chard. So here I'm just roughly chopping my chard. I've got a nice little pile here. That'll wilt down to probably half or a little bit less than half. Okay, I'm sure you guys are noticing the pink light. That is the grow light in my kitchen window. It's for my house plants. So I put a chunk of butter in my little saute pan, and I'm going to grab my onion, and I'm going to throw that in here as soon as the butter gets melted. Okay, my butter is melted, so I'm going to go ahead and put my onion in my saute pan. And I just have my saute pan on a medium heat this morning because normally I would do this at a little bit warmer heat, but I'm trying to video this and cook at the same time. Okay, my onions are starting to get a little bit of color. I'm going to give them just a few more seconds or so, maybe another minute. I want to let them get a little bit more color, and then I'm going to add a little bit of garlic and my Swiss chard. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put some minced garlic in my saute pan here. Just a little bit of cheddar garlic. I don't know, to some people what I'm putting in might be more than just a little bit, but that's how much I'm going to put in. I'm going to go ahead and give that a little stir. And then I'm going to put my Swiss chard in here because I don't want that cheddar garlic to get bitter tasting. And it'll get bitter tasting if you overcook it. In goes the Swiss chard. I'm going to give it a stir. And then I'm going to put a lid on it for just a minute. This doesn't take long at all for the Swiss chard to wilt. Okay, it's been not even a whole minute. I'm going to check my Swiss chard. Give it a little stir. See how fast that wilts down? If you like sauteed spinach, you'll like sauteed Swiss chard. And it is almost ready for my little tomatoes. I'm actually going to say that it is ready. You can see how much it has wilted down. Got my tomatoes on a little plate here. I'm just going to slide them right in there. Give them a little stir around. And then it'll be ready to be put on my plate, and I'll get to cooking my scrambled duck eggs. So just stir those around a little bit, let the tomatoes get warmed up, and then I'm going to put it on my plate. if you're wondering what a duck egg looks like, this is a duck egg. Okay, I have some butter and olive oil in my little saute pan. I'm going to just put my duck eggs in. I crack them into a container. It helps to keep from getting eggshells in your eggs. I did decide to add a little bit of sea salt because I didn't have as much taco seasoning as I thought I did. And so I'm going to do my usual cayenne pepper on my eggs. Cayenne pepper's supposed to be good for you. Gonna break my yolk. And I'm gonna go ahead and dump my little bit of leftover taco meat right in with my eggs. If it looks a little awkward to you, it's because I feel a little bit awkward doing this. Just break that piece of taco meat up a little bit more. So, tell me, what is your favorite low-carb breakfast? Something that includes eggs, because I try to eat eggs every morning. So give me some suggestions in the comments. Alright, let's give these a little bit more of a stir. Well, they don't look absolutely beautiful, but they don't look bad either. I'm going to put a little bit of salsa and sour cream on my eggs this morning. Just a little bit. Oh, and a little bit of cheese. Can't forget the cheese. Cheese makes everything better. It's kind of like bacon. Well, I think I made a big mess of my egg skillet. My eggs are going to stick for the next couple of days. I don't know. My phone doesn't want to focus right now. There we go. Now I got it to focus a little bit better. I had to move it off the burner of the stove. This is my breakfast. I put sour cream, probably a little more sour cream than I should have on there. Some salsa, melted some cheese on my eggs and taco meat, and then I have my Swiss chard with tomatoes, garlic, and onions. I put a little dash of white balsamic vinegar on my Swiss chard. If you don't have white balsamic vinegar and you want to try vinegar on your greens, you can use a little bit of organic apple cider vinegar with the mother, and that will be just as good. First thing I'm going to do this morning is cut the ends off these radishes and throw them in the air fryer to go with my breakfast. I'm going to make some air fryer radishes. I've taken the ends off the radishes. I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil cooking spray on them and just a little bit of salt and pepper. I put some sea salt and fresh ground black pepper on them, and now I'm putting them in the air fryer. Here they are in the air fryer. I'm going to just put them on for 400 degrees and check them about every 5 minutes and see how they turn out. I've never done radishes in the air fryer before. Okay, air fryer's on. Here I cracked a couple of duck eggs into a bowl. I'm getting ready to make myself a couple of scrambled duck eggs. I'm melting some butter in my egg skillet. I normally use olive oil, but we're low on olive oil this week, so butter it is. Here's what my radishes look like. It won't focus. There we go. 5 minutes in, that's what my radishes look like. I'm putting them in for another 5 minutes. I've got myself a little plate here. I decided I was going to put a little bit of arugula on my plate for my breakfast. It's organic arugula. My skillet's hot and ready for my eggs. I'm going to go ahead and put my eggs in. There we go. Now for seasoning. Salt and cayenne pepper. That's what I use. Here we go. A little bit of salt. Oops, sorry. Salt. Not used to doing this left-handed. I'm a righty. To the point that it's like a handicap. My left hand is almost useless. Cayenne pepper. And it is Zatarain's brand of cayenne pepper. And I'm using sea salt. Time for me to scramble up these eggs. Okay, I've got them scrambled up here a little bit. I'm going to see if I can do this. This is not going to be easy. I didn't feel like getting my tripod out this morning. I should have. It would have made this easier, but 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to be messing around with my tripod trying to get it set up and get the right angle and all of that. Sometimes it can be just a pain to deal with that thing. So there we go. And my eggs are at the point I'm going to throw a little bit of sausage in here to warm up with it. Alright, I cooked these sausages yesterday morning, so it just needs to be warmed up a little bit. I'm going to stir my eggs one more time and then put a lid on it for just a couple of minutes just to get that sausage warmed up. Here are my air fryer radishes after 11 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put them in for the rest of the time, and they'll have been in for a total of 15 minutes. Here's my finished breakfast this morning. Air fryer radishes. They took 15 minutes at 400 degrees, and the big ones are fork tender. Scrambled eggs with sea salt and cayenne pepper. I put a little bit of Mexican blend cheese on top of that, let it melt. Little dollop of salsa and sour cream, and a piece of sausage over a bed of arugula, and a nice hot cup of coffee. This breakfast looks delicious. I can't wait to get into it. Alright guys, I have to say one more thing. I got into my breakfast and it's really good. If you've never tried cooking radishes, roasted them or done them in the air fryer, you should try it. If you're doing a low carb diet, a lot of people say that they're a good substitute. Sorry about the rooster. They're a good substitute for potato. They don't taste anything like potato or have the texture of potato, but they are really good. They kind of remind me of, you know, like the cabbage family, whenever they're cooked, like Brussels sprouts or something like that, or even like a turnip kind of flavor. So if you like those kind of foods, you'll definitely like the radishes, and they don't have any of that spicy flavor to them when you cook them. They're really good. So, that rooster again. So if you haven't tried cooking radishes, you should definitely give it a try. This is what I'm having for breakfast this morning. It's pinto beans that I cooked from dry beans, some scrambled duck egg, a little bit of extra sharp cheddar cheese, some salsa, and a dollop of sour cream, and a nice warm cup of coffee. It's been really chilly out lately, and I need a good hearty breakfast. This morning I decided that I was going to do a little bit of Swiss chard to go with my scrambled duck eggs and breakfast sausage, and I'm going to have a couple of air fryer fried radishes to go with it. My Swiss chard and my little piece of sausage patty is warmed up, and I'm getting ready to put it on the plate and scramble my eggs. I'll show you my plate whenever I get it all finished. Here's my finished plate. It's just 2 scrambled duck eggs, some air fryer fried radishes, a little piece of leftover breakfast sausage, and some Swiss chard that I sauteed in a little bit of butter and olive oil. And whenever I put it on the plate, I gave it a dash of white balsamic vinegar just to help give it a little bit of flavor. I just gave the Swiss chard a little bit of salt. And I used salt and cayenne pepper on my scrambled eggs. So that's breakfast for this morning. Okay, so this morning I had a hard time deciding what I wanted for breakfast. I knew I was going to have scrambled duck eggs like I usually do, but I was having trouble deciding what to have with it. So we still had one sausage patty that I had cooked left over. I warmed that up, and I sauteed a little bit of onion, garlic, and Swiss chard, and put a few cherry tomatoes cut in half in my Swiss chard. I topped my scrambled duck eggs with a little bit of cheese, and I always use sea salt and cayenne pepper to season my duck eggs with. I'm going to give my Swiss chard a little dash of white balsamic vinegar, and it is going to be a delicious breakfast. This morning, I am having leftover pork chop and asparagus with my usual 2 scrambled duck eggs with sea salt and cayenne pepper, a little bit of cheese on top of it, and a nice hot cup of coffee. That's what's for breakfast today. It looks really good. If you guys liked today's video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and like I asked earlier, leave me a comment. What is your favorite low-carb breakfast? Nothing sweet. I don't do artificial sweeteners. So, favorite low-carb breakfast with eggs. All right, guys, as always, have a great day.